Hello, everyone, and welcome to today's episode. I'm here to talk about something we all experience: failure. Have you ever failed at something and felt terrible? Don't worry, failure is not the end. In fact, it's part of growing and learning. Let's talk about why failing means you're growing. We'll explore this in 3 simple chapters. Chapter 1: What is failure? Failure is something we all face in life. It is when we try to do something, but it does not go the way we expected. Maybe you wanted to pass an exam, but you did not get a good grade. Or maybe you wanted to make friends in your English class, but you were too nervous to speak. These moments feel like failure, and they can make us feel sad, frustrated, or even embarrassed. But let me tell you, failure is a normal part of life. Everyone fails. Even the most successful people in the world have faced failure many times. Let's think about learning to walk when we were babies. When a baby learns to walk, they fall many times. Sometimes they fall softly, and sometimes it hurts. But do they stop trying? No. They stand up again, and again. Slowly, they get better, and one day, they start walking without falling. This is a simple example of how failure is necessary for growth. It is the same when you try something new, like learning English. Failure is not a sign that you are not good enough. It is actually a sign that you are trying. If you never try, you will never fail. But if you never fail, you will never learn. Let's say you are learning to speak English. If you never practice speaking because you are afraid of making mistakes, how can you improve? You must try, make mistakes, and even fail sometimes to get better. Every mistake you make teaches you something new. Sometimes we see failure as the opposite of success, but that is not true. Failure and success are connected. They are like two sides of the same coin. To succeed, you must first face failure. For example, imagine a basketball player. They practice shooting the ball every day. In the beginning, they miss the basket many times. But they keep trying, and each time they fail, they learn. They adjust their aim, their posture, and their strength. Slowly, they become better, and one day, they can shoot perfectly. Their success was built on their failure. Failure also makes us human. It reminds us that nobody is perfect. Everyone has weaknesses and challenges. When we fail, it is a chance to learn about ourselves. We learn what we are good at and what we need to improve. This self-awareness is very important for personal growth. It is okay to feel sad or disappointed when you fail. These feelings are natural. But do not let failure stop you. Instead, see it as a lesson. Failure is like a teacher. It shows you what went wrong and how you can do better next time. For example, if you tried to write an essay in English and made many grammar mistakes, you can use that experience to learn. You can study those mistakes, practice more, and improve. Think about famous people like Thomas Edison, the inventor of the light bulb. He failed many times before he succeeded. He once said, "I have not failed. I've just found 10,000 ways that won't work." This shows us that failure is not the end. It is just a step on the journey to success. So, what is failure? Failure is not something to fear or avoid. It is something to accept and learn from. It is proof that you are trying, growing, and moving forward. When you fail, remember that you are not alone. Everyone fails, and every failure is an opportunity to grow stronger and smarter. Keep trying, and you will see that failure is not the opposite of success, it is a part of success. Chapter 2: Why failure helps you grow. Many people think failure is bad. When we fail, we feel disappointed, embarrassed, or even ashamed. But what if I told you failure is not a bad thing? In fact, failure can help you grow and become better. It may not feel good in the moment, but it is an important part of learning and improving. Let me explain why failure is actually a good thing. First, failure teaches us lessons. Every time we fail, we learn something new. Imagine you are learning to speak English. You try to say a sentence, but you pronounce a word incorrectly. Maybe someone corrects you, or you realize your mistake later. That moment may feel uncomfortable, but it is a chance to learn. Now, you know the correct way to say the word, and you will remember it next time. Without that mistake, you might never have learned. Failure also shows us what does not work. If you try something and fail, it means you need to try a different way. Let's say you are trying to memorize new English words, but you forget them quickly. This failure tells you that your method is not effective. So, you can try a new method, like using flashcards or practicing with a friend. Each failure brings you closer to finding what works best for you. Another reason failure helps you grow is that it makes you stronger. When we fail, it is easy to feel like giving up. But when we keep trying, even after failing, we build mental strength. It is like exercising your muscles. When you lift heavy weights, your muscles feel tired, but they grow stronger over time. The same thing happens with your mind. Every time you fail and try again, you become more resilient. You learn how to handle challenges and you become braver. Failure also helps us gain experience. Imagine you are learning to cook. The first time you try, the food might not taste good. Maybe it is too salty or you forgot to add a key ingredient. But each time you try, you learn something new. Over time, you gain experience and your cooking improves. It is the same with any skill, including learning English. Every mistake you make is part of your experience, and experience makes you better. Sometimes, failure can even give us new opportunities. When one thing does not work, it forces us to think in new ways. For example, maybe you want to get a job, but you fail the interview. At first, you feel upset, but later, you realize you can apply for a different job that fits your skills better. Without that failure, you might not have discovered a better path. It is important to remember that failure is not the opposite of success. Failure is part of the process of success. Look at successful people. Do you think they never failed? Of course, they did. They failed many times, but they did not give up. They learned from their mistakes, tried again, and eventually succeeded. Their failures were stepping stones to their success. Think about someone learning to ride a bicycle. At first, they fall many times. They might get a few scratches or bruises, but they do not stop. Each fall teaches them how to balance better. Slowly, they improve, and one day, they can ride without falling. Without those falls, they would never learn how to ride. Failure also teaches us humility. It reminds us that we are not perfect, and that is okay. When we fail, we realize there is always more to learn. This mindset keeps us open to growth and improvement. It helps us stay curious and willing to try new things. In the end, failure is not something to fear. It is something to embrace. Failure helps you learn, grow, and become stronger. It is a sign that you're trying, and trying is the first step to success. So, the next time you fail, do not feel discouraged. Instead, see it as a chance to grow. Failure is not the end of the road. It is the beginning of a new and better journey. Chapter 3: How to Fail and Keep Growing. Failure is not easy. When we fail, it can make us feel sad, frustrated, or even afraid to try again. But failure is an important part of life and learning. The way we deal with failure makes all the difference. If we handle failure the right way, it can help us grow and succeed. So, how can we fail and still keep moving forward? Let's talk about it. The first step is to accept failure. Many people feel ashamed or embarrassed when they fail. They think, I'm not good enough or I'll never succeed. But this kind of thinking is not helpful. Remember, everyone fails. It is a normal part of life. When you accept failure, you take the pressure off yourself. You understand that failing does not mean you are a bad person or that you will never succeed. It simply means you are trying, and trying is a good thing. Think of failure as a teacher. Each time you fail, you learn something new. For example, if you try to speak English and make mistakes, you are learning what you need to improve. Maybe you realize you need to practice pronunciation or learn more vocabulary. Each mistake gives you a clue about how to get better. Instead of seeing failure as a problem, see it as a lesson. Ask yourself, what can I learn from this? This question will help you turn failure into an opportunity for growth. Another important step is to stay positive. It's easy to feel discouraged when things don't go as planned. But a positive mindset can help you see failure in a different way. Instead of thinking, I'm not good at this, try thinking, I'm still learning and that's okay. Instead of saying, I'll never get it right, say, I'm getting closer with every try. Positive thinking gives you the energy to keep going, even when things are hard. Sometimes we fail because our goals are too big or unrealistic. If you feel overwhelmed, break your goals into smaller steps. For example, if your goal is to speak fluent English, don't try to achieve it all at once. Start with small, daily goals like learning 5 new words or practicing one conversation. Each small success will motivate you to keep going. When you break big goals into smaller ones, failure feels less scary. It's also important to remember that failure is not the end. It's just one step on your journey. Imagine you are climbing a mountain. Sometimes you slip and fall, but that does not mean you stop climbing. You get back up and keep moving. Each step, even the ones where you stumble, brings you closer to the top. Life is the same. Failure is not a wall blocking your way, it's a bump in the road. You can always keep going. When you fail, it helps to focus on what you can control. You cannot change the past, but you can decide what to do next. Maybe you need to practice more, try a different method, or ask for help. Taking action gives you a sense of control and helps you move forward. For example, if you fail a test, you can study harder, join a study group, or ask your teacher for advice. Every action you take brings you closer to success. One of the best ways to grow from failure is to keep trying. It may feel tempting to give up, especially if you fail many times. But remember, every successful person has faced failure. What makes them different is that they did not quit. They kept going, even when it was hard. Imagine you are learning to play the guitar. At first, your fingers hurt and the music sounds bad. But if you keep practicing, little by little, you improve. The same is true for any skill, including learning English. Finally, don't be afraid to ask for help. Sometimes we fail because we try to do everything on our own. But there are people who can support you, teachers, friends, or family members. If you are struggling, talk to someone who can guide you. Maybe they have faced similar challenges and can share their experience. Asking for help is not a sign of weakness. It's a smart way to learn and grow. Failure is not something to fear or avoid. It is a chance to learn, grow, and become better. When you fail, accept it, learn from it, and keep going. Every failure brings you closer to your goals. Remember, failure is not the opposite of success. It is part of the journey to success. So, keep trying, stay positive, and never give up. You are growing with every step, even the ones where you stumble. So, the next time you fail, don't feel bad. Instead, feel proud. It means you're learning and growing. Failure is not the opposite of success. It's part of success. Thank you for listening to today's episode. If you enjoyed this, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to my channel. See you in the next episode.